Welcome to another video by Pharos Technology. We're going to continue in our exploration of blockchain and the effects and the possible future that blockchain has. Because up till now we've talked about, blockchain inspired solutions, the blockchain archetypes that could be more inspired, and especially the Trojan horse where a company would create a blockchain and literally it controls all the data. In fact, you contribute all your data to it and you get very little in return. We use the Walmart food app as an example of the possible Trojan horse, where Walmart obviously receives a whole lot more data than it gives in return. So we talked about those archetypes, but we talked later about how a blockchain complete solution really has the great benefits, but part of the challenges is that businesses would then have to work with their enemies, work with companies outside that might be competitors to them. And frankly, that might be difficult for a company to create a blockchain and then invite their competitors to join it. So I postulated in those videos that it probably would be a situation where an independent blockchain would be created to solve an industry problem, and that then companies would join that blockchain and become part of a consortium, knowing that their data is still private, but it allows them to tap into suppliers and resources that may be common between those companies and still be able to cohabitate in the same application. So what happens when we go beyond the blockchain complete solutions and start implementing technologies such as the Internet of Things or artificial intelligence? When blockchain was originally conceptualized with smart contracts, those smart contracts were supposed to be learning devices. They were supposed to be implemented such that those entities would then be able to take actions based on input and continue to learn based on more input and build upon its previous knowledge to create correct actions. Well, that is the idea of an AI. So let's make a couple definitions to set some ground rules here before we get too much farther. I like the definition of an IoT for this, and I'll take this one from Gartner. It says a network of physical objects that contain embedded technology to communicate and sense or interact with their internal states or external environment. So a thing on the internet that meets this definition would be an autonomous item, such as when the oil in your car gets low, it automatically would sense that and tell you then that you need an oil change. Or it might even communicate with the local Jiffy Lube that you happen to get your oil changes done each week, and they would reach out to you and schedule the next appointment knowing that your car has gotten to the point it needs an oil change. That's just a quick example of the possibility of an internet sensor that could take an action to help rectify a situation based on its current state that it senses within its code. You combine that with artificial intelligence, and so let's kind of define what artificial intelligence would be in the context of a blockchain. And so in that context, it would refer to an intelligent algorithm that operates and adjusts autonomously. So you want this artificial intelligence to have enough intelligence within its realm of action to then continue to learn and do actions depending upon its inputs that it receives. So if you take the Internet of Things and combine it with the artificial intelligence, you begin to start seeing the benefits of a blockchain, benefits of a sensor or autonomous device, then feeding information into an artificial intelligence smart contract that would then be able to promote actions and continue to autonomously go forward. So let's say that you're wanting to get into a ride sharing situation. You need a ride to the airport, for example. You don't want to park your car at the airport, so you need to interact and get a driver. Now, currently, Uber has an application, of course, that you sign in. You can do it on your mobile phone. You request a driver, the driver has to respond, and so forth. Now, the challenge with that part is that Uber takes a cut of everything along the way. The driver gets paid, but he gets paid only a portion of the fare that you actually paid the driver. Even though the driver is the one that's provided the service, all Uber has really done to add any value to the process is that they created the software that brought you two together. What if that was on a blockchain instead? And instead of an Uber app, you had a blockchain app that would connect the driver, who had registered as a legitimate driver, had identified himself, had gone through the normal clarification of their driving skills and insurance and all the things that they need to have. And the blockchain then connects you with that particular driver who happens to be able to take you to the airport that day. Well, in a blockchain sort of environment, there would be no middleman. Uber is taken out of the equation. Now, Uber might not like that too much, but still, that's what the artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things can do for a lot of different operations. So let's kind of go forward with this idea and talk about something that's really hot in the news today, and that is the fact that we still don't know, as of the date of this recording, who's going to be our next president. Now, certain media outlets have said it will be Joe Biden, but Joe Biden hasn't been able to actually claim victory because the Electoral College hasn't actually voted yet. I mean, there's a lot of details that haven't happened that really certify the election and give us a sure knowledge of who that next president's going to be. But what if you had a blockchain that was over all of the states? In other words, every single state ran a node on the blockchain so that every single bit of information on that blockchain was distributed among those 50 nodes, and possibly if there's voting in Guam and Puerto Rico and other places, everywhere there's a polling place, the district or head of that polling place would run a node on this blockchain. Now, what you would have is individuals like, let's say myself. I would register to vote in this blockchain system. By registering to vote, I would validate, according to whatever laws there were, that I was a person that's eligible to vote in a particular state, precinct, region, whatever that is. I would certainly have to provide whatever adequate proofs the law has for me to let the blockchain know that I'm an eligible voter to be registered within that area. The blockchain would then be informed through the various nodes who is running for office, and all the information on the person there that the system needs to collect when they actually go do the voting. So you have the states putting in the information on who's running for office in what areas and what precincts vote for whichever candidates. And then when the election happens, think about all the possibilities of positive results that could happen. You would have a situation where each person would be able to cast their vote. Now, what about absentee ballots? That's an interesting one. If it's a blockchain that's in all 50 states and it's the consensus algorithm that is run is verified by each of the 50 states, it wouldn't matter if I was vacationing in another state on the day of the election. I wouldn't need an absentee ballot. I would just be able to go to a local precinct and log into the machine or log into the place where I would get the information, and I would log in and register the vote that I would have to do. The blockchain would be smart enough to know that I am from precinct such and such in state such and such, and would give me my list of candidates to vote, and I would do my voting. For that matter, I might not even need a polling place. I might just be able to log into the internet during those pre-designated time frames for those votes to be cast, and I could then cast my vote. You talk about people who have a challenge getting out to vote. You have people that by their ability to have a distributed network among all the states be able to vote in any place that they're at on the day of the voting. Now, what happens when 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock comes around, whatever the polling time is for the day that the vote is supposed to be done, and the end of the day comes and the polling places are closed? In a blockchain environment, all those votes are already there. They're already tabulated. They're ready to go. And of course, the administrators in the various places would tell the system what those voting dates and times are. And so the analytics wouldn't be able to be compiled until the time set forth for the voting to be completed and done. Then it's a simple matter of tabulating the vote, and the blockchain would have a smart contract that could do that quickly, equitably, and easily. Duplication of votes would be eliminated. The track record of all of the people who voted would be immutably recorded on the blockchain. It would be auditable. It would be transparent. Privacy would be ensured because of the encryption and the chance that everybody who wanted to vote could cast their vote in total anonymity, and the only person that could get access to that would be the person themselves when they log in and they have their own private keys. So here's just a possibility of a solution for a particular pain point that we're experiencing in the United States today. How blockchain and Internet of Things and artificial intelligence could be combined in these extended blockchains or expanded blockchains that could really benefit society. I hope you have enjoyed the topic that we've covered today, and I hope to see you again sometime. Thanks. I want to thank you so much for viewing this video. We have great content on the site, and I'm putting more content out every single day. There's a link to one of them on the side of the screen over here. Also, please help me grow the channel by subscribing. So hit that subscribe button a little bit lower on the other side of the screen, and hope to see you again. Thanks.